Why hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I am your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, and today, for the RiseToWar Legacy, I'd like to give you an update on where we are on the server. I gave you one for a few weeks ago. Again, I delay these, so I put them out later. So if you're someone who's playing with me in these seasons, you might be like, well, that was like delayed like 2 weeks. Well, it's because I want to do it for privacy reasons for everyone in the game, as in like strategically on my own team, and what other people are doing and that kind of stuff. And I'll never show you guys stuff that are, you know, strategic, but I usually put them out a few weeks later anyway, a week or so, a week or two, just because it makes it better that way. But here's what's going on. So it's pretty epic, pretty awesome. The battle's been great. Everyone's been really nice on all sides. It's been a little bit weighed heavily against us in amount of numbers. We're quite a bit outnumbered right now. There are basically 3 big fellowships in our kingdom, and we're allied. Our kingdom is allied with Steppe and a few people here. They have 3 big ones. One's up in the north, 2 are down here. And then there are quite a few kingdoms in... those are pretty much the main kingdoms in our alliance ones, so 6. But there are 3 massively powerful ones in Chaos. Very nice people. They're very enjoyable to hang out with and battle with, and especially my friends over at Yeet. They're there. It's fun. It's been a fun season. There's a lot of people here, I know. And then Otter, I believe, and they have and then those are the 3 big ones there. But not just that, there is also and excuse me, Banana has 2 big ones. We don't really have there. We have a third. No, we have a third one. I take it back. No, Herd is with us. And then the Blue Kingdom also has 3 really big ones. So, but it's felt really, I think they have more numbers than us, because it's pretty much felt like it's 1v3. For every one of us, there's like 3 of them, and they're all very strong too. I'm not complaining. Great game. That's how it goes. Okay, that's how it goes in RiseToWar. I've been on the receiving end of this, and vice versa, where we outnumber the other teams. Right. That's kind of how it goes. It's a little bit of a bummer with the Blue Kingdom here, because they were kind of like behind us and they allied with them too. And by the way, technically Yeet and Otter were their own kingdom before. I guess they oust a kingdom over here in Chaos. I don't know how that works, or maybe they merged people. Maybe they merged people in, like the couples they didn't have, you know, to finish off 100 fellowships. So technically there are 3 kingdoms against our 2 kingdoms, but in power level, because Yeet and Otter are very strong alone. They're probably on the same level as we are in Banana if we were 1v1, but then the Blue Kingdom is also very powerful as well. They're probably the same one. They could 1v1 them or 1v1 us. And then the 2 monstrous kingdoms pretty much are the Green Kingdom and Chaos's kingdom. When they had 3, they were both very powerful battling, and they had already taken all this land. And then they basically, what happened was they consolidated, as in they joined this kingdom, and it was pretty even. The fights were pretty even when they were their own kingdom. Everyone was pretty balanced, but they grouped up, and then it started feeling a little more heavily weighed in their direction towards us when it comes to combat and just numbers, the numbers game, which this game has that, right? You can overwhelm opponents. I just made a guide video on that, where like if you're fighting someone, you can overwhelm by just having more players, even other free-to-play players, taking tiles and stuff. And they have a lot of monsters in the couple of these fellowships too. Just like Steppe has a lot of monsters too, and we have a couple. But we do have a couple awesome monsters in the Banana team that are really strong. But then it was really hard, because not only were we fighting on this front, and Steppe was fighting them over here, and we were fighting this kingdom. There was also another purple kingdom here that was fighting. They kind of got they got eaten a little bit, but they fought a long time. They're really valiant. They're still here though. Serve. I think Serve may have originally been in their kingdom, which I don't know if that was like some drama there. Again, I don't really like to report on drama between things, especially if I'm not informed on the game. Some people like that, but I'm not really a big fan of drama. I like to stay away from that. We're a very positive channel here. But anyway, that's kind of what's been going on. But then Blue was behind us. They actually own these 2 regions, and we were just here, and we were up. We originally had up into here, but then not only we get attacked by them, we got attacked by this kingdom, and then they grouped and were kind of double teaming us, where Steppe was actually one of their fellowships. They were fighting Steppe too, so they were obviously strong enough because they're taking us both on. But then the Blue Kingdom, instead of it was close. If the Blue Kingdom had joined us, it would have been very close in a fight. I think it would have been more balanced of a server. Again, just because they have a lot of land doesn't necessarily mean numbers. You have to remember that numbers matters. You kind of can judge another fellowship power once you fight them for a couple days. You're kind of like, okay, so this is kind of their power level of, they have like 58 guys who are really active. They have 20 that are like play a little bit. They're not, and then they've got a couple that just aren't active, right? That's kind of you have to judge in those groups of 100, because remember, there's probably over 1,000 players on this map, like real people playing, right, with their armies. So, but if Blue had joined our side, it would have been very close. I think it would have leaned a little bit in our favor, because Blue's a pretty strong kingdom. But I still don't think we would have just outright won. I think it would have been very close fighting. But unfortunately, I think they got talked to, and that's how the politics work in this game. And they joined them, and they were behind us. So not only are we being attacked from here, we were being attacked from another kingdom here. We've been holding out for weeks, not just held. We've been holding out for weeks fighting. And then they also were coming in over here, and of course Steppe was battling them as well, and up in the north. But it's felt a little one-sided now, but it's been really fun. They've been really good battles. We've actually gotten some good ground. We took this keep, we took this keep. We are now going to make some deals to kind of set up a PvP zone, but and things like that I've heard. But like, that's what's been going on. Again, it's been a really fun season because I know a lot of these people. But as you can see now at this point, a lot of production things, you can see these top 3 fellowships are just huge in the Black Kingdom. And Steppes are still massively huge too. They're 3. They're pretty equal except for numbers. I think the Black Kingdom still has more numbers on them because they merged the other kingdom of Yeet's group. And then the Blue Kingdom, as you can see, is actually above us now, our kingdoms. We do have 3 here. But we still are very strong. And Serve was one of, I think the Black Kingdom oust to kind of accept the other 2, which I don't know about that. But again, obviously when it came to political stuff, they tried to really make it where they had a very high chance of being successful, right? Because that does happen. And it's kind of a little bit of a bummer. I kind of would like to see more like back and forth. The beginning of the season looked kind of cool because there was a kingdom here. There was a kingdom here. There was a kingdom down here, here, and there was another one up here somewhere too, a blue one for a while. It was really cool. There was like, I think there was like 7 kingdoms. It was like, whoa, what? This is really cool. And then unfortunately, like, stuff happened and it basically just became 1v1, right? It just came, you know, this kingdom in blue against our 2 kingdoms. Just a big 1v1 battle. I kind of would have liked to see, you know, blue fighting them, we're fighting them, this kingdom, and didn't change over to black, and then, you know, that kind of stuff. But, you know, wishful thinking, right? It would have been fun. It would have acted for more things. All right, so let's go back to something that I talked about almost a year ago now with the Kingdoms game mode. I still think the Kingdoms game mode is my favorite game mode in the game, but I really liked it when you could have 5 fellowships in a kingdom. I think that it was a mistake to bring it down to 3. I still stand by that thought, and the more I played, the more I realized I was right. So, at least from my premises, okay? You can go back and watch my video in the Lord of the Rings RiseToWar Legacy playlist here. But I feel what happens is that it causes, and they wanted to make it where it was less of making a huge group of, and they just take over everyone else, which with 5 fellowships. But the problem is it causes people to be left out in the cold because that same thing that they were trying to prevent still happens. All right, like consistently, like every season I've played since they jumped at that update, like it's consistently happening. Okay, so I think if there were 5 fellowships in a kingdom, what would be happening is we would be one big kingdom with probably what would have happened is there would have been 3 kingdoms, right? Blue would have probably joined in with the Yeet, or probably joined in with us more likely. I would have think that they're right next to us. There too, they have like 2 really big fellowships, and they have one other one too. But so we would have had 5. Steppe probably would have gotten some more people in. 5. Now, if Steppe had joined with them, that might have been a little unbalanced because it would have been massive. But they would have been really strong. But again, their other 3 would have probably joined in with Serve, and that would have been another kingdom. And Yeet would have probably accepted one of these other groups, maybe the other blue kingdom that was up here originally, and they would have had, you know, 5 kingdoms and another one. It probably would have ended up being 3 or 4 kingdoms, right? And it would have been a battle like that. And then At that point, but they added the fellowship basically allying with kingdoms. I think it's a cool thing. So if we go into the kingdoms tab and kingdom, so again, it used to be you could have 5 here, now you can only have 3. Those are our 3 right now. Diplomacy, right? You can say who you're at war with, who you're allied with, and if you're allied with them and friendly, their tiles are purple, okay? And they're right here. They're purple, right? And technically, you can't march to them, but they have a little red edge, but they're purple. So you know that you're the allied kingdom, so you want to attack them, right? But I'm still in the boat where it's kind of like, well, they didn't have that allying of kingdoms, and they left it with 5 fellowships. This probably would have turned into 3 kingdoms, right? And they, you know, they could still technically ally, right? If one of them wanted to gang up on the third one. But I think this season actually would have been 4 kingdoms, like 4 strong kingdoms. Because there's about 3, 6, 9, 12, yeah, I think it probably, there's about 15 strong fellowships in this game. Maybe 1 or 2 more, but it probably would have come down to, it would have been 3 big kingdoms, right? Maybe one might have been a little weaker than the others, depending on who joined up with who, but it probably would have been a little more balanced than it is right now. Again, it's kind of like, it's not necessarily the end all that it's only 3, right? That it's only 3 fellowships now. So maybe it is good because they're trying to make more kingdoms. But again, my reasoning is I'm not seeing that happening. I'm seeing just what happens is more kingdoms gang up, right? Which is always going to happen with diplomacy. And there's always that guy who's going to say lies about another kingdom just so everyone on the server gets mad at that kingdom, right? That happens way too much. Don't be that guy, okay? We all know who those guys are. All my friends here, all the old groups I've been in, Yeet and all of us, right? Again, I just joined Banana this year. They're very nice. I've really been enjoying playing with them a lot. Thank you guys for having me. But I've been kind of like moving around the last few seasons as like a nomad because I've been playing with lots of different groups, right? So it's really fun though. It's really fun. I know a lot of people and I've battled a lot of other ones I know are nice. Step are nice. Chaos have seemed really nice though, really nice players. No one in this season I've had 1 or 2 individuals that were not very great, but this season has so far been pretty civil, a little bit of fun banter, but, it's been pretty fun. So, and I know they're already like working on making plans to do a PvP zone and stuff like that. But, yeah. Unfortunately, the way it is with how many kingdoms we still have, right? Now, the good news is, we have, no matter what, how many kingdoms we have, we're probably not going to be able to get more than just 1 ring, right? Because there's only 8 of them on the thing. This is another little complaint I have at the return. This game mode, I think with the amount of people they're putting in it, which is good. I think there should be a lot of players like this, like over 1,000. And again, 15 big fellowships. I think they should probably add 2 more rings. I don't think it should just be 8. I think I've talked about this in previous videos. I think there should be a ring up here, maybe an Angmar, and maybe the other ring would probably be good, maybe somewhere up in, up here as well. Maybe Erebor. Right? Because again, if we look at all the rings on the map, we have 2 down here. We have 2 here in the center area here. 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. You see almost like this loop of 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then, wait, where's 8? Oh, and this one down here. 8. I didn't count it there. So it's actually a loop like this. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are all kind of in the middle, which is for a reason, right? These 6 along the middle here makes for good balancing. And there's 2 just thrown down here because they added that area. But I really think for balancing, there should be 2 more. And I think it should be 1 up here and possibly 1 here. And again, it would continue that ring. If you notice, it would continue a ring all the way up and around. They could do that. I also think it'd be fun, I talked about this hypothetically in the past, to put Numenor out here. Like closer than it should be, but make it like a couple regions. Like if you wanted to expand the map just slightly bigger, you make Numenor really big, like it would be like this size area, but out in the ocean. Maybe toss 2 rings on that one instead of on the map here. And they're like, the only way to get there are like really far traveling boat yards, right? To like travel to it, just like you do like a one of these, right? A crossing, but a harbor crossing. I think it'd be kind of cool, right? And you can usually travel to the other side, but it would take you a good hour to get there, right? To travel across to it. That would be kind of fun because you can make a stronghold and make it either where maybe players can't even start on that island, but it has certain locations you can get there, maybe from this place, maybe there's a crossing here at Dol Amroth, a crossing at the tip here, maybe a crossing at this bay opening, and maybe one or two up here, right? So there's little crossings from all over the coast to get there, but no one can start on that island. I don't know, just a cool idea. Just some fun ideas. I think it would be really cool. I think it would add a lot to the game. I think it'd be a good way to play on things with, like, the Rings of Power series and stuff, which, if you want to watch my reviews on that play series, I have goods and bads about that series. But still, they're talking about Numenor more in the public spotlight, besides just the nerds of us that know all the background lore. It would be kind of fun, right, to do that. So, anyway, that's about it, my friends. I hope that you have a great and wonderful day in Middle-earth. That's pretty much an update on what's been going on the server. And there's some epic battles happening up here. Again, we took these spots. We still own this location. They just took this one, so we kind of lost that. They're just in right here. So we kind of own all this land on the side of the river, but they're kind of in this little area right here. Maybe we'll get that back if the treaty is that. We'll get back that area later on. Kind of keep our little kingdom in basically Gondor and that kind of thing, and we'll start PvP. We'll see the outcomes later. Hopefully everyone's nice about it, but again, unfortunately, because there's not really a lot of rings, we'll probably just be left with the challenger one, because to get the Ring of Power one, this is another thing they could do if they wanted to let people get this tier 2 a little bit more reasonably for a situation like this, especially for maybe a smaller fellowship. I'm also thinking about like Serve up here, right? Their group. They had this one ring, but now they got it taken, sadly. But even if they had that one ring, and again, we only have one ring right now, it would be kind of cool if you didn't have to have 3, or maybe just have 2, right? Ring of Power, 2, and then you're allowed to get. So if you occupy 2 or more, you get 50. If you occupy 3, you get 100 extra points, but you get the title if you have 3. Which allows you to get the Legendary Lord, basically the 2nd level title. Again, the Challenger one isn't terrible. It's still much better than Explorer or Traveler. Traveler means you did nothing, pretty much, in that season, is what that means. Which is fine. Maybe you were just sitting doing your daily role and you didn't really want to play. That's fine. That's a lot of the reasons why people would have that, I think. And Explorer is usually, you just kind of played by yourself. You weren't in a group. And then this one is territory for, these change slightly depending on the game mode you're in, obviously, but this is the one for Rings Power. And then also Kings of Men, you have to have a Dol Guldur, right, to get basically the first place reward. Only one group's going to be able to get that. Technically, 2 people can get the Legendary Lord one, but I still think if they bumped it down to where you only had 2 rings, then, if there's 8, technically 4 kingdoms could get the 2nd place, and only 1 could get that. And I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think it would ruin the game mode at all to do that. So that's another recommendation I have to them. I just find that it causes a lot of frustration for a lot of people because you work so hard, and granted, one of your big goals is honestly to just earn these points, right? I'm trying to get up in the top 50, but at least I'm there. At least I'm in the group. To get the points, because you can earn and buy in the store stuff, right? This is your free loot stuff. And of course, Kings of Men, only the people that have Dol Guldur can actually buy this item at the end, but you can get all these other items, high level items too. Still cool, right? But again, I think that would be nice if they bumped this down to 2. That's just my feeling. Leave the reward though. If you have 3 or more, you get an extra 100, right? But then if a kingdom is feeling, generous, and they just want to be like, oh, well, let's let the other kingdom get the reward and be able to have, 2, right, to get that title and get 50 points. So let's give them 2 more, right? You could still have, then there'll still be that competition there if people do want to be stinkers about it. But again, I'd almost rather they didn't leave the 100 points for 3, because I would just like it if they bumped having 2 up to 100. Maybe having 1 having 50, 2 having 100, and then if you have 2, you can get the regional lord title or the Rings of Power regional, and then you'd be able to get the regional lord title. Again, and I know some of you are like, oh, you're just complaining, Zollin. It's like, well, yeah, obviously. It would be nice. I just notice this happens a lot. And again, I've been doing very good the last few seasons. So if I just show you here's my seasons, right? My original season 1, I just got a defender, which was defending our land. It wasn't on a kingdoms. I got a regional, basically 2nd place. 1st place season, 1st place. Tactics evolved. This would have been a 2nd place, but We had a jerk that season. This is what not to do, Kingdom. Someone was mad at one person, so they like took our capital just so we'd lose our like 100 people would lose their stuff because they were mad at one person from a previous season. So yeah, we didn't even know who the person was. So that was fun. But again, see, we've been doing pretty good, honestly. I've pretty much gotten second and first every single season, right? Except for this. And of course, this season, just because the way things are looking, I'm assuming we're going to get the third place one, but really not the end of the world. It's better than just having the Explorer title, that's for sure. But again, I'm really enjoying it. Great people this season. There's my little update for you on what's going on our server. I kind of like doing these sometimes. It's kind of fun. And thanks for listening. If you listened to the whole video, I appreciate it. Leave your comments if you're on the server with me. Are you having fun? What are your highlights? Thank you so much for being wonderful opponents or allies, depending on where we are in the thing. And thanks so much, guys. Thanks to my Patreons. Subscribe button's there on the right side of Middle Earth. Over there is the next episode for this playlist, and over there is the Legendary Server Treebeard voiceovers in Lord of the Rings Online. Baruch Hazad Kuzad menu. I'll see you all on the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Stay happy, my friends. See ya.